So what is the marketing strategy for successfully launching a Bitcoin Ordinals project? That's what we're going to be exploring in today's video. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard that Bitcoin Ordinals have been gaining a lot of traction. We're seeing projects like DGods launching collections on Ordinals, and we're seeing some of the top influencers like Elena on Twitter or Bark talking all about Ordinals. And to be honest, I've personally dove into the Ordinals world, and I have to tell you, the community on there is alive. There's a lot of traction, there's a lot of life, and Ordinals right now really are where I think Solana was a year ago, where there was that whole novelty aspect. It was a new shiny object, and a lot of people are flocking there. The sentiment is a lot more positive. And there's something very exciting about the Ordinal space right now, which is that it is very primitive. The technology you see that we're pretty much used to right now on Ethereum or on Solana, like marketplaces, like launchpads, like wallets, all of those are still in their infancy stages of Bitcoin Ordinals. Really, trying to mint a Bitcoin Ordinals NFT is almost like going in and trying to hack a website. That's how it feels, and I think that experience kind of creates that novelty and that thrill in people. All this excitement, this attention, and the positive sentiment in the Bitcoin space makes it a great place to be launching a project, building a community, and using all of this to continue building your ecosystem that you are aiming to build in Web3. So let's talk a little bit about marketing. The thoughts that I'm going to be sharing in today's video are based on a couple factors. The first one is I'm currently advising on an Ordinals project, and before coming into a project and start working with them, I typically do a deep dive with my team at my growth consulting agency Unfungible. We go in and we do a deep dive into the market and really understand, get a grasp of what is it exactly that's working, what is happening, and how can we position the project that we are advising on in a way that is effective, powerful, and could work. So the thoughts you're going to be hearing in today's video are based on the preliminary research we've conducted. And number two, I myself invest a lot in my education, just like I expect people I work with to invest in me and my knowledge. I typically invest a lot in continuous learning in the space, whether that's in Web3 or in business or in personal development. So I've spoken to a couple people that are deep within the Bitcoin Ordinal space, whether these are experts on the technical side of things or whether these are people that are more focused on launching projects. And I'm also going to be sharing any takeaways I got from these conversations that are relevant for you today. So in terms of marketing on the Ordinal space, I've broken down everything you need to know about successfully launching an NFT project on Ordinals into 6 main rules. And I call them rules mainly because if you guys have been watching my videos, you probably have a good idea how to launch and how to build an NFT project. And all the strategies revolve around attracting new community members, making them stick around with you, and finally having them buy from you. Summarizing Web3 marketing, this is how it's done. For Ordinals, the concepts remain the same. However, there are exceptions and there are things to do differently simply because it is a very different chain with a very different buyer persona, with a very different experience and expectations that people have coming into your project. So it all comes down to 6 main rules. Before I talk about rule number 1, word of warning. The Bitcoin space changes at light speed. From last week to this week, there's been a handful of innovations that have happened. People are now talking about BRC tokens. There's now talks of a smart contract on Bitcoin. And whatever I talk about in today's video is relevant today, but it might not be in a couple of months. So keep that in mind. So rule number 1, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to know is that the inscription number matters on Ordinals. And that's why whenever you're launching your project, I do not want you to compare your project to old projects that have come out before, simply because they have an advantage because they've inscribed their NFT on the blockchain, which means they've minted their NFT on the blockchain earlier than you. So if you look, for example, at the BTC DGods, so the Bitcoin blockchain, you can see here that the range is 77K 236 to 77K 770. That means that the first DGods NFT was the number 77236 and the last one was 77770. And this is the range. You want to think about it as things that are inscribed in a chronological order. And the further away you are from, let's call it the Big Bang, when the first inscription number 1, the less valuable your NFT is, simply because it is older in history. So for example, Bitcoin DGods are actually very early when it comes to the inscription, only 77K. If we are to look at some earlier collections in the NFT space, for example, if I were to show you this project, Bitcoin Bears, they had 100 curated and handcrafted bears on the Bitcoin blockchain forever. Inscription range 5,600 and 5,700. These guys are early. These guys were very early within the NFT space. And you can see they have a floor price right here of half a Bitcoin, which is today like $15,000. This value simply because they are so early in the blockchain. Right now, as we speak, we've just crossed 10 million inscriptions on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it gives you an idea. And it's funny because I have a friend who works in the ordinal space, and he did a favor once to someone, and he asked the guy like, hey man, what can I pay you? How can I repay this favor? The guy was like, hey man, don't worry about it. Just send me any NFT you have in your wallet that's under 100K inscription number. And it's like, people put value on that. So that's number one. Never compare your project that is now going to be 10 million plus inscription. Don't compare this to the earlier collections, simply because the value that they have right now, the reason why Bitcoin Bears is at 0.5 Bitcoin is because they are so early and they are Genesis NFT collections. Rule number two, marketing windows are a lot shorter on ordinals. On Ethereum and Solana, we're looking at marketing windows of month. It takes you a month to build a community. But on Bitcoin right now, expect a marketing window of about 3 to 4 weeks. And there's a couple reasons why. Reason number one is FOMO is a big selling factor in projects right now on Bitcoin. People are just FOMOing into projects. They're joining any project that has any form of social proof. For example, if we are to look at some of the recent projects that launched, for example, this is one, Bitbonies. They recently sold out a 999 collection at about $100. The account was started in February 2023. If you are to go to the very first tweet they made, that was February 28th. And you can see absolutely no impressions. And you can see the type of marketing they were doing, just them posting their profile picture with the inscription number and the hashtag, and just that type of marketing. So what we're seeing is marketing windows are a lot shorter because FOMO is driving force of NFT projects selling out, which opens up my second point, which is because of the FOMO effect, we're seeing a lot of cheaper marketing strategies that typically we would see during the 2021-2022 bull market. We're seeing these happening on Bitcoin, and those typically look like giveaways, those typically look like raffles, those typically look like, botting your server. If we are to go to this project called Neo Utah, who recently sold out as well, you can see that they started their account in May 2023, like just now. And they, for example, if you are to look at some older tweets, you can see their very first tweet was on May 9th. You can see them doing the whole giveaway raffles, this, drop your BTC address below. And you can see people just commenting here. And you can see that as part of the comments, it's just like, these are all botted retweets. Those are not real people. Those are fake accounts or botted accounts. And you can see that this works. This project sold out, and cheaper marketing strategies do work, unfortunately, which is bad for this space, but you can only blame the buyer for that. I'm personally not going to be going through how you can deploy these strategies on your project, simply because I don't abide by them. I believe in building high quality brands that last long term. And for how long are these strategies going to work? History tells us that for not very long. It's a matter of time until people realize that projects that are just launching cheap marketing strategies that are built on top of FOMO are not going to last very long, and people are just going to get burnt 1, 2, 3 times, and they're going to be like, no more cheap projects. I only want to invest in high quality projects. And that's the typical healthy cycle we've seen happening on Ethereum, then on Solana, and now we're going to see that on Bitcoin. If you yourself want to know exactly how these strategies work, make sure you watch some of my older videos about this, especially during the Solana summer. I personally don't believe in using these types of strategies. I'm more of the type of person that wants to build long-term brands with strong communities. But hey, it is what it is. You can only blame the buyers for buying. So that's what I have to say. Rule number 3, ladies and gentlemen, inscription costs are really high. So the cost of you to inscribe an NFT on the blockchain, on the Bitcoin blockchain, is very expensive. If you want to think about it, that's the gas you have to pay to mint the Bitcoin on the blockchain. And that is the reason why pixel art is so popular on Bitcoin. And it's not popular because people on ordinals like pixel art. No, pixel art is the only thing people can upload on the Bitcoin blockchain simply because it's so expensive. So for example, here, ladies and gentlemen, I am on Unisat, which is the more popular website for inscribing your NFTs on the blockchain. You can see it's still in beta. So let's say I were to try to inscribe an NFT. So we can see right here, Unisat inscribe. I want to inscribe a file. You can also inscribe a SAT domain. So those are domains. You can inscribe text, BRC20 token, or a Unisat domain. I want to inscribe a file. Let's say I were to go and I wanted to inscribe my Azuki right here. You can see that it's 16 kilobytes, which is a tiny image. You can see that just the cost of me inscribing one NFT is $20. That's on top of the gas fees you would typically pay for the transaction. So that's just the inscription fee. So what you would need to do is do this for every NFT you had. Let's say you had a collection of 1,000, that's 20 times 1,000, that's $20,000 that you'll need to pay just for inscribing your NFT collection. That's why smaller pictures and smaller collections are very typical on Ordinals. Now, I do want to show you something, a very interesting hack for you that I noticed. So if we are to go to the Bitcoin DGods NFT on Magic Eden, you can see right here that these NFTs actually look like very high quality. If I am to download this image, you can see right here, let's say I took that image as it is in HD and I were to try to inscribe it on the blockchain. This is the one. It's 300 kilobytes, which would cost me $384. So I'm sure DGods didn't do this. So what happens, let's say you go here, you're gonna notice if you click on the inscription ID, you're going to see the actual image that was inscribed on the blockchain. So here you can see a pixelated DGods. And if you take that one and you save it, and I throw that in here, you can see all of a sudden that this is only 5 kilobytes and this only costs $8. So what happens with Magic Eden, when you mint on the Magic Eden platform, what you do is you give them the pixelated NFTs and then you give them the high quality NFTs, and they're going to match it on the platform, where number 3323 looks high quality on Magic Eden, so on the platform, but in reality, the inscription is a pixelated inscription. So that's one of the things you want to keep in mind whenever you do see a high quality inscription on Magic Eden. Sounds good? Something else that's becoming very popular that we're seeing right now is people are going to mint the collection. So everyone is going to send money to the wallet, to the address of the collection. And then only after the project has minted out, will the founder or will the team behind the project mint the NFTs on the blockchain. So we collect the money and then we mint. Obviously, this opens up the conversation of trust. Who am I sending my money to? Which brings me to my rule number 4, which is that community value trust, and doxing is very important. If you want to launch an NFT project on Ordinals and you're a nobody in the NFT space, where you don't have an established brand or a big partner, a big sponsor that is helping you launch a project, you're probably gonna have to dox, you're probably gonna have to show your face, you're probably gonna have to show the community who you are, simply because right now on the Bitcoin Ordinal space, people are not buying in for utility. You can't really build much on Ordinals. It's not meant for you to build on it. All people are buying in for is the community. And communities need a sense of trust. One of the ways to build trust is by either doxing yourself or by having a reputation behind your name. So for most of you, I can know you might be a first-time founder, you might be new in the NFT space, you will have to do that. Or obviously risk the consequences of you trying to launch, wasting time and money, and not getting the type of reaction you want from the community. Rule number 5, who you know on the Bitcoin Ordinal space matters. A big way projects sell out is because of the collaborations that they do. Doing collabs is the main way projects sell out right now on Ordinal space. So you having the capacity to have access to certain projects is important. And number 2, if projects don't trust you, they're not going to accept your collab. So right here, I am on BitBonies' Discord, and you can see they made an announcement before the mint just thanking all their partners. So you can see, hey guys, lastly, regarding collaborations, we have received hundreds of requests and we've reviewed all of them, and we do want to thank all our partners. So they had a list right here of all the different partners that they've worked with, all the different people. And you're going to notice that a lot of them are either Solana communities or they are Bitcoin communities. So what we've gone forward with my team is we've scraped the top NFT projects that do collabs for Bitcoin projects, and we've compiled those into a list for you. So you can see that list right here. Let me expand this a little. You can see that list right here. It has about 40 different projects, and these are all, I would say 50% of them are Bitcoin Ordinals specific projects. The other half are Solana projects, and you can see the associated Twitter and Discord with them. And these are going to be the project with whom you're going to try to network with, build relationships with, and then do collabs with. I'm going to be making that sheet available for you. All you need to do is just click on the link in the description of this video. You'll just have to put your email in so I can send that to you, and so I can obviously continue building stronger relationship with you and send you free guides and free resources whenever I build those. This sheet is going to help you save some time, and it's going to give you some guidance. So yeah, just click in the link in the description of this video so you can access this free sheet right here. On top of this, I would recommend working with people who've already been active within the Bitcoin ordinal space, simply because they've already built their relationship. They've been in the space, so they know who to work with, who to talk to. So I would recommend, if you are launching in the ordinal space, you can start from zero, start building from zero, or you can partner with people, maybe pay the price for it, but it might save you time, money, and your project, who knows. So this was rule number 5, who you know matters. Rule 6 and final rule, supply sizes matter. Right now in the NFT space on ordinals, we used to see much smaller supply sizes between 100 to 1,000. But what we're seeing now is bigger supply sizes of 10,000. For example, if you notice all the projects that had inscriptions less than 1 million, a lot of them were smaller supplies. BTC DeGods had 500. Bitcoin Bandits, which were inscription 58,000, had 500. Bitcoin Bears had 100. Ordinals Maxi, less than 100K, they had 200. But now, all of a sudden, as new people started coming into the space, especially as Solana people started coming into the space, we're starting to see much bigger collection sizes. So Bitcoin Frogs inscription 381,000, which is still early, but not that early. They have a collection size of 10K. Bitcoin Bears Club, which is the secondary collection of that first collection we saw of Bitcoin Bears. Again, 10K supply, inscription number 600,000. Ords Heroes 3K. So this gives you an idea a little bit of where the typical supply sizes and how have they evolved. Now here's my take as someone who's in this space. When choosing your supply size, it's important to take in consideration who is your target persona. Is it a Bitcoin maxi or is it a Solana degen? Because that's going to tell a lot about what type of supply size you have and who are the collabs you're going to take. So for example, the 10K collections that we're seeing are very much more degen oriented. They're degen collections, much more emphasis on Solana collections, bring in the degens, lower mint price, higher mint supply. And that's what we're seeing with bigger projects. If you have a project that is more targeted, that has a branding, art, and lore that is more Bitcoin maxi centered, you want the big money, maybe charge more, $200-300 for your NFT, then going for the smaller supply size and focusing on the Bitcoin specific collabs, that's the way to do it. So yeah, this is my take for the supply size. Understand who your target persona is and then give them what they want. So these were the 6 rules, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1, inscription number is important. The earlier you are, the more of an advantage you had. Number 2, marketing windows are a lot shorter. These opened up some much more shady marketing practices, but you can only blame the buyer for that. Number 3, inscription costs are very high. That's why we're seeing pixel art being very popular on Bitcoin ordinals. Number 4, community values trust, so doxing is important. Number 5, who you know matters, so you're gonna need to build strong relationships or you're gonna need to work with someone who already has established relationship, which typically comes with a cost. And number 6, supply sizes. Know who your target audience is. Is it the degen or is it the smart buyer? With that, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for watching this video. If you yourself are in need of help to launch your NFT project, whether that's on Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin, we can help with that. All you need to do is book a free 30-minute consultation call with us so we can get to know about you, get to know about your project, and identify how we can help you and how you can get involved with us. And if you want to keep learning about how to build killer brands and products in the Web3 space, I'm going to be pulling another video that I think you're going to be liking. With that, I'll see you next time. Ciao.